Some 30 years ago, I was in Hungary on a conference, an open space conference, and for the first time, there were some Russians attending. I think 5 or 6 of them. They came from that area, from that land that we didn't know at all, because it was still time of the Soviet Union, and that was an unknown place to us in that time. But they came, and what happened during that conference was that at day 2, I think, the coup of Yeltsin started. And the Russians were quite upset because it was, of course, their country, and they didn't know if they could go back. And then I remember very vividly there was this magical lady, this Russian priestess, who said, we have to do a ritual against aggression, against war. And we all gathered in a church, and we did the singing and dancing and a ritual and a meditation. And afterwards we drank vodka. And guess what? 2 days later the coup was over and the Russians could go home. And I was really intrigued by this. Like, what did she do actually? And how did that work? Can you do something like in a very small way that has an effect for the greater whole? Like a homeopathic dose, or like you put an acupuncture needle in a collective field and then suddenly things might change. Well, I still don't know if that's the case, if that's the way it works. But during my life, I've been walking into all kinds of wars in Syria, in Gaza, in North Korea, in India, with the war in Pakistan just happened right on the day that we landed in Delhi, and the war was straight on our path. We talked about it in another movie, another video, more in detail about this journey, where we did the same. We invited all the players, because that's, I think, the method. You don't choose a side. You invite all the participants of the war, like the aggressors, the victims, as many parties as possible. And you see it as a big family constellation. You know that everybody has its role. Also the dark ones, the one who ruin everything. You kind of look through their role and to see them in their essence, in their soul quality, or maybe in their little child, because they are hurt somehow and that's why they project out into the world. So you collect them all into the circle, into the field, into the constellation. And then you kind of give them all encouragement and compassion, telling them to their soul, on a soul level, it's all okay. And so it's not about blaming, it's not about cursing somebody or a party. You all help them to move to a next level. And we did that actually this year in May, in the 11-day war with Gaza and Israel. And we had a big group of Israeli people, some 25, and we were all laying in a circle. And I invited all the players in, the pilots, the soldiers, the victims, the one who had been killed. And we kind of sent out our love and our compassion to all of them. And the next day, the 11-day war was over. Now, again, I don't know if that's a direct connection or not. And maybe we should never know, and we should never put that on our shoulders, because that's too much. You can't take responsibility for that. But it is an interesting thing to watch and to see. And I do believe that we have a power to help things in sometimes other parts of the world that are difficult, just by holding space. And say, we connect with our hearts to you, not with our minds, because our minds, we all have opinions, and we all like this party better than that party, and that's how the whole thing keeps on going, actually. That's the circus of the mind. So you have to step out of the mind, open the heart, connect to everybody, and that's what we're going to do on March 3rd in the evening at 8 o'clock. We will do this ritual again. And who knows, it might contribute to all the parties involved in this conflict that is really touching the core of Europe, but also touching the core of this time, where we need to go to another level of communication and another level of seeing all these parties involved in the world Because if we don't do that and we don't involve everyone, we'll be stuck anyway. Because there are too many big challenges ahead that we need to solve all together of us. So I hope you join us on March 3rd, 8 o'clock Brussels time. We'll connect with a lot of Russians. There's a whole Russian network and Ukrainian network that will join us on this evening and to lift the energy and to bring compassion to everyone involved. Hope to see you there.